What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Euro NBA video. Today we're going to be talking about the Western Conference playoff standings. If you didn't check out yesterday's video, I talked about the Eastern Conference playoff standings. So if you want to see that one, just check out my yesterday's video. But yeah, let's get into this Western Conference standings prediction. All right, so the first seed is obviously going to be the Warriors. You know the Warriors. The Warriors have the last two MVPs. They have Steph Curry, who was the last 2 seasons MVP. They also have Kevin Durant, who was the MVP before Steph Curry. So basically, if they're not the first seed, everybody's going to be disappointed. Maybe the Spurs are going to be a first seed. Probably not, because they don't really have that much anymore. They got rid of Boris Diaw and Tim Duncan. But let's talk about the Warriors. The Warriors, they have Steph Curry, Kevin Durant. Freaking they're already all stars. They could already be the first seed with those two players. And they have Klay Thompson, who is arguably the best shooting guard in the league, behind James Harden. They also have Draymond Green, who was in the running for the Defensive Player of the Year the last 2 seasons, and they got Zaza Pachulia in free agency for not that much money. I've read an article where like the coaches for other teams were actually kind of mad that the Warriors got Zaza Pachulia for that cheap because now their team is better than like if they didn't get Zaza Pachulia. Zaza Pachulia is like an underrated center. He's actually pretty good, but nobody really knows about him because he's not really like that. He's not really. He hasn't been on that good of teams, but he's kind of a good player. And their bench has Sean Livingston. He's a good backup point guard. They also have Patrick McCaw. If you don't know who Patrick McCaw is, he's the rookie. He's a rookie out of UCLA, I think. I don't know, probably not. And he already showed clutchness in the summer in the preseason, and he can score. So and he can facilitate the ball. And they have JaVale McGee off the bench, who's a pretty solid center. He's athletic, and he's a rim protector. But after that, their bench is pretty trash. So yeah, they're gonna be playing the starters a lot. So they're probably gonna get tired, and then maybe they don't get the first seed. But I don't know. I think the Warriors get first seed easily. All right. So the second seed is gonna be the San Antonio Spurs. San Antonio Spurs, like Tim Duncan retired, so yeah, he's gone. Boris Diaw is on the Jazz now, so he's gone. David West is on the Warriors now. He's gone. And Boban Marjanovic, the 7'4" beast out of Serbia, I think. I don't know, but he's 7'4". He's on the Pistons now, and he's gone. So now they're stuck with Tony Parker, a really old Tony Parker at the starting point guard. Starting shooting guard is Danny Green. He's a good defender. He's a good shooter, but he's not gonna lead a team or anything like that. The person leading their team is gonna be Kawhi Leonard at the small forward position. He's in the running for the MVP of the league. And at the power forward position, they have LaMarcus Aldridge, he might not even be on the team at the end of the season. He's in trade talks right now, but I think they're gonna just keep him at the end. And then at the center they have Pau Gasol. Pau Gasol's not that good at defense, but he's definitely good at offense. So he's gonna bring offense to the Spurs. And yeah, but like rim protection, they're kind of bad at rim protection because Pau Gasol and LaMarcus Aldridge are not that good at blocking. Pau Gasol kind of showed like glimpses of being a rim protector when he was on the Bulls, but on the Spurs, I think they're gonna really want him to score more than play defense. But I don't know. And then off the bench, they obviously have Manu Ginobili. I think he's still in league. They also have I actually don't even know who they have to bench. But actually, I think they're gonna be the second seed pretty easily. They're gonna pass the ball. They're gonna facilitate the ball really easily, and they're just gonna Um, I mean, Kawhi Leonard and LaMarcus Aldridge are good enough to be the second seed alone. So yeah, and they have Tony Parker. So yeah, the Spurs I think are going to be the second seed pretty easily. All right, so the third seed is going to be the Los Angeles Clippers. Chris Paul, their starting point guard. He's one of the best point guards in the league. He's kind of getting old, but he's still good. And at the starting shooting guard, they have JJ Redick. He's a knockdown shooter, 3 point specialist. At the starting small forward, like this is where they're like bad. Their starting small forward could be Luke Mute or Wesley Johnson. Yeah, so their small forward position is kind of trash right now, but their power forward position is pretty good. It's Blake Griffin. Um, Rumors have it that he might get traded, but I don't think he gets traded. I think he stays on the team. And then the starting center is DeAndre Jordan. He's a good player too. I think he makes the All Star game this season, but I don't know. Um, they're a good team. Like last year, they were a good regular season team, but then when the playoffs came around, they got injured and all this stuff. So I think they are the third seed because Chris Paul's the top point guard, Blake Griffin's top power forward, that and DeAndre Jordan is a top center. But like I think they're gonna like be gunning for the first seed because um if you don't know, Blake Griffin is gonna be a free agent after this season. I think the same with Chris Paul. So if they do bad, Blake Griffin's probably gonna leave. So I think they're just gonna try to do good. And then if they do bad, Blake Griffin's gone, Chris Paul's gone, and then they're trash. So I think they're gonna try to do good, so they could like keep those players, and then so Blake Griffin can stay on the Clippers. But I think they do bad. I don't know, but I think they're the third seed because after the third seed, there's kind of not that much teams. It kind of gets weak after the third seed. But I think the Clippers are the third seed easily with their lineup. All right, so the fourth seed. The fourth seed is where it gets tough. The Warriors, Clippers, and Spurs are three of the top five teams in the league, so it's pretty easy to put those teams in the top three. But the fourth seed is where it starts to get tough. Last year it was the Thunder. Obviously they're not gonna get the fourth seed. I think it's gonna be the Portland Trailblazers with the fourth seed this year. They have Damian Lillard, who was All NBA second team last season, I think, and they also have CJ McCollum. He's a pretty good player. I think he was the most improved player last year. And they also have Evan Turner, who they signed. He could be a pretty good player for them. Um, Alan Crabb. They also have Alan Crabb, who is a knockdown shooter, and those players couldn't like rally like last year. Last year they made the playoffs with just Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. So if you add Alan Crabb, I mean he was on the team last season, but he wasn't really developed that much. If you add Alan Crabb, Evan Turner, and all the other players, they're pretty good. They also have Mason Plumlee, Miles Plumlee, one of the Plumlees. They could develop into a good player, and I think they're just gonna rally and be one of the better teams because of chemistry. I think their chemistry is gonna be real high, and then they're gonna facilitate the ball really. They're gonna facilitate the ball good, and then they become the fourth seed. So yeah, I think the Portland Trailblazers are a fourth seed. All right, so the fifth seed, I think the fifth seed is gonna be the Oklahoma City Thunder. You might be wondering, what? Euro NBA, they got rid of Kevin Durant himself and Serge Ibaka. But the thing is, they still have Russell Westbrook, one of the top five players in the league in my opinion. They also have Victor Oladipo, who can develop into a good player one day. They also have the rookie Domantas Sabonis, I think his name is. He could develop into a good player. If he doesn't, then Ersan Ilyasova is already developed and kind of a good player, not really, but still. And You know, Westbrook and Victor Oladipo could be like one of the best backcourts in the whole league at the end of the season if Victor Oladipo does good. And I think Russ West, like 2 years ago, Kevin Durant was injured with a broken foot. I think it was something like that, and Russ Westbrook single-handedly led the team to almost make the playoffs. So I think so. If you like without Kevin Durant, they didn't really have anybody else. But now they have a better team because they got rid of Kevin Durant. They got a better team. Like 2 years ago when no when Kevin Durant was injured 2 years ago, like they had a bad team without Kevin Durant. So now they have Victor Oladipo, Domantas Sabonis, um, all these players. Oh yeah, and what's his name? Steven Adams. They also have him. 2 years ago I think they did have Steven Adams, but he wasn't developed yet. But now the team surrounding Westbrook is better than 2 years ago. So 2 years ago when they missed the playoffs, um, he didn't really have any supporting cast because Kevin Durant was gone. But now he does. So yeah, I think the Thunder are the fifth seed. All right, so the sixth seed. I think the sixth seed is gonna be the Utah Jazz. The Utah Jazz, they got Gordon Hayward, they got George Hill who can facilitate, he can score, he can defend. George Hill is just an all around player. Same with Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward's an all around player. They also have Rodney Hood. He was like the 20th pick in the draft a couple years ago. He could be one of the best shooting guards if he keeps on getting better, and he's a good shooter. He could kind of defend. He's kind of clutch too. They also have Derek Favors, who is a good scorer, a good post scorer. He could just score a lot. He's kind of not that good on defense, but he could get better. Rudy Gobert at the center spot. If Derek Favors messes up on defense, Gobert is there to just reject the shot. And freaking Rudy Gobert is a contender for Defensive Player of the Year this season. I think he might win it, but probably not. It's probably going to be like Hassan Whiteside or Kawhi Leonard. But it's whatever. And they also have Dante Exum coming off the bench. He might even start later in the season. He's coming off the bench because he tore his ACL last season. Now he's coming back. I think he's going to be good for the Jazz. They also signed Boris Diaw and Joe Johnson in free agency. Boris Diaw was a good facilitator. He could shoot threes. He could get boards. Joe Johnson, he can isolate and score, and he could be clutch in clutch moments. He could just bring scoring off the bench. I think the Jazz. It was either the Jazz fifth seed or the sixth seed, but I just ended up going with the sixth seed because I think the Thunder are just a little better. But yeah, I think Jazz are the sixth. All right, so the seventh seed, I think the seventh seed is gonna be the Memphis Grizzlies. The Memphis Grizzlies, they had like 28 players on their roster last season. I don't even know how that happened, but now they have actual good players that are gonna stay on the team this time. Their starting point guard is Mike Conley. He's an all-around player. Tony Allen is a lockdown defender at the shooting guard. Chandler Parsons is who they got in the offseason. He's one of the most underrated pickups in the offseason for the Grizzlies. Nobody really talks about that pickup for the Grizzlies, but I think it's going to be a good signing for the Grizzlies. Chandler Parsons is an all-around player. He's a knockdown shooter some nights. They also have Zach Randolph. He could still score in the low post. He's kind of getting old, but he could still score. And they also have Marcus All coming back from his injury. I think he's gonna have a breakout season. I think he's gonna average something like 20 points per game this season. But yeah, so I think they're gonna be a 7th seed just because they lost some chemistry when Gasol was injured, and their team kind of got worse. But maybe they'll get a higher seed. I don't know. I think they're only the 7th seed though. Um, yeah, I think the Grizzlies are the 7th seed. All right, so I think the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to be the 8th seed in the league next year. It was between the Rockets or the Timberwolves for the 8th seed. But I think the Timberwolves edge out the Rockets this season for the 8th seed, because the Rockets, all they really have is James Harden, and then everybody else is trash. And I don't think James Harden can lead the team to an 8th seed. I mean, he might be able to, but I don't know. I think the Timberwolves are going to take the 8th seed because they have so much young players. They have Karl Anthony Towns, the rookie of the year last season. He could be like the best center in the league in a couple years. They also have Andrew Wiggins, who was the rookie of the year before Karl Anthony Towns. So 2 straight years that Karl Anthony Towns, well, 2 straight years that a Timberwolves player got rookie of the year. It might be 3 with Chris Dunn, but I don't know. And they also have Zach LaVine, who could just freaking jump out of the gym. Freaking, he's good at dunking. He might win the dunk contest this year again, but I don't know. And I think their team is young, and then I think Karl Anthony Towns has a breakout season. I think he averages like 22 points. I think Andrew Wiggins averages like 20, and I think Zach LaVine averages like 15 points. And Chris Dunn, I think he's gonna facilitate the ball. I think Chris Dunn's gonna average like 6 assists, and I think he might score like 14 points per game. Maybe he takes the rookie of the year. I don't know. And if Chris Dunn does good, then they might just trade Ricky Rubio for like another good player, since Ricky Rubio still has like trade value in the league. So they might trade Ricky Rubio for another good player, like another shooting guard, another backup point guard, something like that, if Chris Dunn does good. But yeah, besides that, their bench is kind of good. Not really, but I don't know. I think they take the 8th seed because they have so much young players that are gonna do good this season. So yeah, I think the Timberwolves take the 8th seed. That's gonna be all for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, comment, share this video. I'm gonna play some NBA 2K right now, and I'll see you next time.